What I do, as you can see, there's quite a lot of rain. I'm going to try and get rid of a lot of this. So scraping it off. I've got an idea. Okay, what's Catherine? Okay, that's everything in there. It's not too bad. Tent's not too wet. It's just light, consistent rain. But I did use. Now you're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh. So you're gonna laugh. I did use this Quechua window back, and I had to empty it about 3 or 4 times. But that's 3 or 4 times of that amount of water that I'm not putting into the car. So if you've got a small tent like the Quechua 2 Seconds Easy and it's pouring rain, just skim this over the surface a few times, empty it as often as you need to. Yeah, that worked really well. That got a lot of the rain off. So little tip for you guys. So back to the pitch. This is where I was last night. As you can see, I've left no trace apart from a little tag. There. 7. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, nothing left behind. Well, you join me back in the car in the dry, which is nice. Mother Nature really likes to throw a spanner my way sometimes. I did actually come here in May, and the reason for that was the Keswick site was flooded. We had a lot of rain during May, and literally about the day before I was supposed to come along to the trip, they phoned me up and said, I'm really sorry, but I'm afraid that the site has been flooded with all the rain. I was like, oh no. So they were really good, and they got me in here at Windermere, and I spent 4 days here in May. And yeah, this night here, this 1 night stay, this wasn't initially on the plan. This wasn't meant to be. It was meant to be 3 nights in Keswick, and this was a kind of backup, really. A kind of I've got everything packed. I've got everything I want to take. Just am I going to get to go? Is fate going to happen again like it did in May, where I can't stay at Keswick site and I can't get a pitch because it's flooded? Because the weather up here is different from in the Midlands. You know, the mountains have a little bit of a play, it seems. So I booked this so that at least I got some sort of trip out of it. I got some sort of adventure from it. And if Keswick wasn't flooded, then great. I get 2 campsites in 1 trip, or as I like to call it, a double header. And that's why I've come here for 1 night, and then I'm at Keswick for hopefully 3 nights. I say hopefully because I'm still in doubt of the fact that it's actually going to happen. So I think I'm going to go to Coniston. It's a trip that I tried to do in May, but I ended up going up really, really narrow roads, and it was a little bit hairy for me. I didn't really enjoy it. But since I've done some research and found out the fact that I can go another way, it's a lot longer way, but at least it's nicer roads. I've been doing Google Maps to find the way, and literally just dragging myself along the road and making sure that the roads are adequate, because last thing I want to do is meet oncoming traffic and then try and move into some sort of ditch, and that I don't find that fun. If I have to do it, fine, but there we go. Anyway, folks, time is ticking on. I've got my watch on. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky. Anyway, I've left no trace over there at the campsite. You can see the pitch is clear, and my route ahead. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's what I've got at the moment. So without further ado, I think it's time I left this site. It's a shame about the weather, it really is. But there we go, you can't do anything about it. See you later, folks. Okay, it's a very simple composition. It's very much like Ashness Jetty, where it's a simple leading line. This one's got a little bit of a kink in it, which is quite interesting. Thankfully the rain is, well, it's heading away, which is a good thing. Okay, using a Canon 6D DSLR camera, 16-35 f4 ISUSM-L lens. I'm not using the image stabilization this time because I'm using a tripod. Straight down the jetty, lens cap off, all important. Check the composition. So we need an adapter ring for ND ground. So this is a diameter of 77mm for this particular lens. And then we've got the filter holder, which clamps just on the front, like so, and then locks into place because it's that new Lee one. Then we want some ND filters. They're dark at the top and clear at the bottom, as you can see there, and that just balances out the sky with the land, or in this case, lake. There we go. Okay, ND grads are in place. Now it's time for this, the ND filter. This is black all the way through. There are various strengths. This is the lightest one at 6 stops. There's also a 10 stop, also known as the big stopper, and a 15 stopper, also known as the super stopper. This is the little stopper. 6 stops of light. So ND grads in place. Just slide that down, like so. And then, because this is the lighter version, the exposure is not going to be as great as, say, on the 10 stop. So then we can actually see where that's going to be. And then we go back into the menu and then do HDR. HDR stands for high dynamic range. This basically takes a series of 3 images, one that's just right, one that's too dark, and one that's too light. Now in the areas of the image that are overexposed, then it will put the dark image in. In the areas where there's too much shadow, like the trees over here for argument's sake, it's going to put the lighter image in. So it's a little bit like Goldilocks syndrome, and it gets a nice balanced image all the way through. So that is at 2 stops either way. Autofocus is off, image stabilization is off, F11, and a 2-second timer. HDR, 2-second timer.